Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Broku. Today's video we're talking about devils and Black Clover and asking the question, are most devils weak? I put that in quotation points because, well, it's kind of weird to call them weak because they necessarily wouldn't be a weak race, but I'll get into that in the video. But that being said, guys, if you want to hire me as an online personal trainer and get in shape by next spring or summer, go visit my website, hire me, and I will get you in shape. With that being said, let's get into this video. So, of course, with this arc, we're getting more and more and more and more devils. So, we had Asa's devil, we don't really know much about, and that was basically been the entire series. Zagred was a high-ranking devil that was introduced towards the end of the Elf arc. Then we have Lucifero, and then we have the two devils that are Vanikas and Xenons, which we do not know about them. Then there are 7 Cliff-Off devils, and then there are going to be 5 devils that Nacht has. So we're getting more and more and more devils. I'm sure there's going to be more and more revealed, get information about them, their powers. I'm interested to see how this whole thing against the Cliff-Off is going to be, because that's a lot of devils. But, so, when I'm saying are most devils weak, that's what it's exactly how I'm saying. Are most devils weak? Now, of course, Lucifero, any of the Dark Triad devils, and probably the higher end devils in the Cliff-Off, they're not going to be weak. I'm talking about the lower ranking devils, and it seems like they very likely are actually quite weak compared to, I guess, when you add in full context. Now, of course, like I was saying earlier, devils as a race are going to be quite a bit stronger than humans as a race, and even elves as a race. But it's kind of like saying how, and this is what got really common to say, that there are fodder elves. And that is kind of what it is. It's like they're basically the nameless elves in Black Clover in the actual elf arc. They are not really that strong. But, that being said, they're still quite strong because most elves, as stated by the Witch Queen, were stronger or as strong as her. So that means that even the weak elves are actually strong. What I'm going with here, and this basically brings in Nacht as to show my point of why devils, most of them, might be quite weak relatively to the stronger humans. And this is because Nacht, a vice captain, is possessed by 5 devils, yet according to him himself, is weaker than Dark Triad members who are only possessed by a single devil. That is a huge difference. 5 devils versus 1. Now, this would likely imply that there's a huge difference in power between the devils that Nacht has, with only one named being so far, which is Gimodello, and then the devils like that Dante has in Lucifero. We know that Lucifero is likely the strongest devil because he's going to be the last devil to be released when the gates open from the Tree of Cliff-Off. So, we do know that Dante is paired with likely the strongest devil, because he is the last one. Now, one thing that kind of bridges that gap between the devil's power is that it's likely that base Dante, as in Dante without his devil, would be stronger than Nacht without his devils, as Dante is going to be definitely stage 0 without using any devil power. And this is because we know that the 50% Dark Disciples were stage 0 without using devil power. This is because they were called stage 0 before activating their devil power. And then the Dark Triad can defeat 50% Dark Disciples in their base forms. This is shown as Vanica and her base one-shot a 50% Dark Disciple. And we know that the Dark Disciples, or the Dark Triad, are basically the same power as stated by Nacht. And so that would mean that essentially the other Triad members should be able to do that as well. And that would mean that, you know, they should be all stage 0 in base, whereas vice captain level in the Clover Kingdom is stage 2. Although I would not be surprised at all if you could have Nacht being a stage 1 without the devils, because of him being in the Black Bulls, and the Black Bulls just really are built different. But Nacht did leave the Clover base, or the Black Bull base, and he never returned, as he was always a spy in the Spade Kingdom. So he probably got these multiple devil possessions while he was in the Spade Kingdom, because the Spade Kingdom is the land of the devils, as stated by Julius. So the thing here is that let's just compare Nacht to, let's say, Dante. Nacht is possessed by 5 devils, but he doesn't think he can defeat Dante, who is possessed by 1 devil. Now, people will say that no, Nacht isn't possessed by 5 devils, but going off of what we have, that is what we have to assume here. We just assume that Nacht is possessed by 5 devils, because that's what the information supports right now. Maybe he's not possessed by 5, but that's what is basically being shown. As Nacht has Gimadello, then he summons 4 other devils. Asta says these are devils, and remember, he can read Ki, so he should be able to tell that these are different entities. They all have different forms, and they all have different horns. Now this would mean that Nacht is possessed by 5 devils. Now I don't know their rankings, but you would then have to assume that they're all likely low-ranking devils, since you have Nacht with 5 low-ranking devils, or 5 devils, but he could not defeat Dante, who has 1 devil possession. So that is what I'm kind of saying here, is that the low-ranking devils, although they are devils, yeah, they'll be stronger than average humans, but I don't think they're going to be that strong. Just like I said, like how elves are stronger than the Witch Queen, but still, even the lesser elves, they're not that strong, even though they're an elf. They're above the stage of a human. So that's what this kind of video is kind of just going over, is that I think that the devils probably going to be a bit overhyped. Yeah, you have Zagred, yeah, you have the Anti-Magic Devil, yeah, you have Lucifero, the other Triad Devils, and then you have the Cliff-Off Devils, but are the others really going to be that strong? If Nacht can be possessed by 5 devils, but cannot take down the Dark Triad, or at least one of them, then I think that's a huge sign that the lower-ranking demons or devils are going to be very weak in comparison. It's not even going to be close. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cliff-Off does open and we get a massive war of basically an army of devils, that it would be something like the Clover army can kill, or essentially, I guess, defeat the devils, as in they are stronger than them, but they can't kill them because they're not arcane. So it would be like a massive battle where, let's say Charlotte one-shots a devil, but then that devil just regenerates because he can't be killed because Charlotte's not arcane. Maybe it'll be like that with the armies, because the low-ranking devils might really not be that strong. Now, I could be completely wrong, and like I said, it could change to the fact where Nacht isn't possessed by 5 devils. It's just maybe he's summoning these devils. But Asta even says, oh, he had more devils? They have different horns. They're basically being used like shadow magic, because he basically seemingly summoned them from the shadows. So I think that these are devils. So that would make Nacht being possessed by 5, because he has those 4 entities that surround the captains. They all have different horns, and then Nacht has his own horns. That would be 5 devils, which is absolutely nuts. But it makes me wonder how he balanced all those different devils, how he works with all of them. That would be interesting to see. Hopefully we see some of that with Nacht. But yeah, I don't think that the devils are going to be too strong when it comes to the low-ranking ones. Of course, the high-ranking ones are going to be ridiculous. As even the weakest Cliff-Off devils are as strong as the Dark Triad, and then each tier gets stronger, and then it gets to Lucifero. So the high-ranking ones, of course, are going to be ridiculous. Nacht even said if Lucifero gets released, that the world is done. That's the end. There's nothing they can do. So yeah, of course, the high-ranking devils, they're going to be very strong, but the high-ranking ones would not be the majority. As, being high rank would mean that you're above the majority, and that means that most devils could be considered weak. Now, of course, devils as a whole would be stronger than humans as average, but when you have incredibly powerful humans, the low-ranking devils might be considered somewhat weak compared to the high-ranking devils. But just want to talk about this and with Nacht. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that the low-ranking devils will be just kind of almost like fodder to the Clover army, where the Clover army can kill them, or I guess defeat them, but can't kill them because they're not arcane? And it's going to be just almost kind of like fighting a zombie horde that can regenerate, but of course more sentience by the devils. Really interested to see how this plays out, but I'm also really interested to see how strong the high-ranking devils are, like Lucifero, and then the ones that are possessing Xenon and Vonica. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...